He is one of the most talented players in the National Hockey League. Just ask Bill Guerin. And today, we are diving into whether or not he could become a Montreal Canadien. Today, let's head over to Dallas and talk about one, Jason Robertson. Now, you might be thinking, Lego, you're crazy for making a video like this. Here's the thing. We have made Jason Robertson to Montreal content on this channel before. That was a topic that we had explored back in the summer, and we are revisiting this because of a few conversations we have seen pop up all over the internet. Yeah, great source, right? Let's get into the player profile first, and then we can dive into some of the information. Jason Robertson, 26 years old, from Arcadia, California, USA, a place that I actually visited 2 years ago when I headed over to California myself. They have a nice little shopping mall there. Arcadia Mall, I think that's what it's called. Anyways, Jason Robertson, 6'3", 205, a left-handed winger, signed on to the Dallas Stars at $7.75 million till the end of this season. The guy is eligible for an extension, but he hasn't signed it yet. This season, Jason Robertson is a stud. 54 points in 45 games played. He is on pace for 98 points and 47 goals on the year. He had eclipsed 46 goals back in his 100-point campaign in 2022-2023, but this season the guy is fully unlocked after a few down years of being just a measly point-per-game player. You see, anybody that gets 80 points in a season, we would generally say is pretty good, but the fact that Robertson had 100 points and then 80 points and then 80 points, that was what was seen as a disappointment, plus the fact that he didn't produce too much in the playoffs last year. He only had 6 points in 11 games played, definitely not the level of where he needed to be to get fans to cheer for him and to getting that contract and to attaining the heights of a Mikko Rantanen-esque dollar amount on the next deal that he's going to get. Which is why, when we head over to Sportsnet.ca and Nick Kypreos' latest article, there is a conversation that opens the door to Jason Robertson trade talk. The big quote was posted onto Reddit. One idea floating around the league is a bigger swing involving Dallas, specifically Jason Robertson. Contract talks there haven't been smooth, where Robertson is believed to be looking for north of $12 million a year. That's not an easy number for the Stars. Now, here's the thing with that. The Dallas Stars just gave Mikko Rantanen $12 million on the dot, a contract that he probably would have been able to get in Colorado had he stayed there. But the interesting thing about it is Mikko Rantanen is wildly outproducing Jason Robertson this season in terms of Dallas Stars league play. Rantanen is all the way up there at 61 points in 44 games. He has more assists than all but 3 players on the Dallas Stars have total points. It goes without saying that Mikko Rantanen making $12 million is very well worth it. Is Jason Robertson worth it, though? Time will tell. Let's head over to the Nick Kypreos piece and just dive into what it is that he writes about here. Real Kipper's NHL buzz, what some teams are weighing ahead of the trade deadline. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go out there and read this article yourself. But if you scroll over to the J-Rob conversation, this is where Kypreos writes about it. Toronto could pay the number for Robertson, but the question is the cost of acquisition. Easton Cowan, Ben Danford, plus more, likely an off-season conversation rather than a deadline one, but it's the kind of move that would actually change the Maple Leafs' makeup. Whether they have the stomach for it is another matter. Now, Kipper is writing about this within the context of the Toronto Maple Leafs, but there is a conversation that we can open up about another Atlantic team in Canada, the Montreal Canadiens. Take a look at this. It was posted onto the Habs subreddit. Jimmy M007 says, Jason Robertson. He's looking to get shopped. He is still an RFA, and he's looking at a $12 million deal. He's a lefty, and he would be a good fit for the first line with Cole and Suzuki. Yay or nay? For an off-season move, most likely. All hypothetical, of course. would you do it as the Habs GM? Now, my question to you is, would you take advantage of this situation? Would you try, as Kent Hughes, to pry open the Dallas Stars and what it is that they would want and try to grab Jason Robertson onto the Habs? It's going to be pricey, but you got some contracts coming off the books. Patrick Laine is not going to come back. That's $8.7 million freed. You will have to give up some assets to make it work, but depending on what those assets are, do you become a lot more enticed in this sort of a deal? Let's head over onto the subreddit and read some commentary from them as to what the trade price could look like. There's going to be a lot of teams interested in the top 5 goal scorer. Would love to have him, but unless he's set on coming here, the price would be high. Yeah, no, there's going to be a lot of teams interested in a top 5 goal scorer. Not Team USA, LOL. Yeah, we gotta cut it. That's not gonna be funny anymore. The guy is too good to be left off of Team USA. A reply asks, are you willing to send Cole Caulfield back in a Jason Robertson trade? Because that's going to be the ask, and we'll have to add. In that type of a trade, I would rather target a Tage Thompson. Perplex goes out there and says, I would consider a Jason Robertson trade for Caulfield from a pure hockey point of view. Robertson is basically a 6'3" Caulfield. He is 2 years older, but still in his prime. The huge downside is the contract. Cole is on a good deal until 2032. Robertson will sign for at least $4 or $5 million more per year next summer. So for that reason, it would make no sense to trade him for Caulfield. And that, I think, is the biggest red flag in this entire Robertson situation. A lot of the Canadiens' core is already locked up, and to good contracts too. Dobson, Suzuki, Slafkovsky, Hudson, these guys are all here for the long term, and they're making really, really weak money compared to the rest of the NHL talent pool and how much those guys are getting. Jason Robertson could get $12 million if he became an unrestricted free agent. He won't be, but if he was a free agent on the market, he would get 12, 13, maybe $million a year. So the fact that he is an RFA makes it a lot worse for him in terms of negotiating power, but still, there has to be a team willing to pay it. If a team is going to trade for him, also, there is tremendous value there because Dallas has an RFA that is under their control. They have all the cards. Whether or not Montreal is able to pull off a Robertson trade without sacrificing any of their long-term pieces, that's a big question mark. You might have to trade away a guy like Ivan Demidov or something to make that go through, and already that seems like an emotional burden that Canadiens fans would not want to even entertain. Trading Ivan Demidov? Hell nah. But at the end of the day, the truth remains you have to trade value to get value, and Jason Robertson is the cream of the crop, one of the top NHL goal scorers in the past calendar year, and he makes it look easy. The guy comes in, he shoots, he scores, he's a very good sniper, and there's a lot to like out of the way he plays. It's just whether or not Dallas wants to commit the money to him. It's weird. Minnesota, their GM Bill Guerin, they don't take him on their USA hockey team. Meanwhile, the Dallas Stars, they're going out here and saying that, yeah, no, this is a guy that we don't want to give all the money to. We'll just give it to Rantanen instead. And to be fair, Rantanen is fine. But Jason Robertson, he is a very interesting player that we will have to pay attention to. And I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. How do you feel about the idea of a Jason Robertson trade to Montreal specifically? Would you be down to pay the price? What is the maximum price that you would be interested in giving up? Let me know in the comments all your opinions. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.